What's up, you guys? Cameron Cornish here, your #1 real estate agent in St. George, and today we are in Washington, Utah. We are right off of Washington Dam Road and Country Way, and probably one of the most underrated suburbs in all of St. George, Utah. I'm gonna be talking about some of the reasons why it might be underrated, but I'm gonna make the argument that the pros definitely outweigh the cons. You have arguably three of the best and most reputable builders that have homes and are building homes in this area right now. We're gonna do some neighborhood and home tours of those builders, and why if you're looking for a home here in Southern Utah, this is definitely an area for you to come check out. Let's go do it together. This is Living in STG. All right, we'll get started here by showing you a map of St. George. You got Ivins and Santa Clara to the west, St. George in the middle, Washington to the east. As we zoom in here, we're gonna be right off of Country Way and Washington Dam Road. So we can start this tour off by turning left onto Country Way here from Washington Dam Road. First thing you're gonna notice are some of these beautiful homes in a more established part of this area. A lot of these homes have some horse properties, things like that. So just super beautiful view to turn into. To the right here, you have the Virgin River, which is always beautiful to look at. And then right up here on the right, you're gonna have the park, which is called Sunrise Valley Park. And this has some really cool features for the neighborhood. There's pickleball courts, basketball courts, the jungle gym. And then of course you have the grass area that sits right behind the Virgin River. So just beautiful views, awesome little park right there to have a lot of fun with the family. The way that this neighborhood is actually laid out, you guys, is there's 4 different neighborhoods within this community: RiverBend, Red Waters, Red Trails, and then lastly Red Mesa. I'm going to give you a quick tour of these 4 neighborhoods and talk about the builders that are building in them right now. First up, let's go over to RiverBend, where S&S is having some new construction going up. So they have about 10 different floor plans to choose from right now, single level and 2-story homes. The lowest price range in here right now is at about $566, all the way up to about $675. So if you're in that price range, this is definitely an area to check out yourselves. You can find something as small as 1,800 square feet in this neighborhood, all the way up to about 2,700 to 2,800 square feet. Within those 10 different floor plans to choose from, you have anywhere between 3 to 4 bedrooms. Some of them even have a casita attached as well, so that'd be 4 bedroom plus a casita. Then you have 2.5 bath all the way up to 3 bath, 3-car garages. Some of them even have the RV bay as well. So it just kind of gives you guys a good idea of what S&S has to offer. They're actually starting phase 3 here soon. They're finishing up phase 2. Now, one thing I always look at is I look at trends as far as equity growth goes. And I noticed that there was a home that just recently sold about 7-8 months ago in phase 2. And the price point was about $620. That same exact model right now is going for $660. So think about that for a second, you guys, right? The person who bought that home within about 7 or 8 months grew $40,000 in equity. And I know that's pretty normal when you have new construction going up, right? Whoever gets in first usually is getting the best deal, but that just gives you a good idea of the opportunity for equity growth that you have when you're looking at some of these homes over here, just because of the area. I'm telling you, it's growing, and because of that, home prices are going up. So my suggestion would be to get in now while the getting is good. All right, guys. Hey, hopefully you enjoyed that tour of that S&S home. And like I said before, if you're in between that $600,000 and $700,000 range as a buyer, I would definitely recommend looking at some of these S&S homes over here in RiverBend. And the other good thing that it has going for it is it's also the closest community to the park that's over here as well. So that's definitely another plus. Now, before we go look at some of the ends homes over in Redwater and Red Trails, let's talk about some of the pros and cons of living in this area in general, and why I believe it's often overlooked when home buyers are searching for homes here in Southern Utah. Now, I think the first thing that people notice often over here in this area, you're literally only a mile or maybe a mile and a half away from the Republic Services city dump. Now, I know you're probably thinking, ew, gross. It probably smells over here, but I can honestly say it doesn't. I haven't smelled any kind of garbage or trash at all. And I've even been over here on super windy days. I've talked to people that live in this community, and their biggest complaint really is just some of the traffic that goes down Country Way, because a lot of times some of the dump trucks will take that road out and get to the city city, that they hear those dump trucks sometimes and they can get awfully loud. So that's really the biggest complaint that I've heard from people that live in this area. If anything, I do smell an odor of like farmland. There's a lot of farms, there's horses, there's cow and cattle, and there's a couple different ranches in this area as well. That's why it's called Country Way. And so if anything, I get a little bit of a smell of that, which I don't mind, honestly. And my wife thinks I'm weird, but even the smell of fertilizer sometimes, there's just something nostalgic about that I kind of enjoy, to be honest with you. So it doesn't really bother me at all. So as far as being that close to the city dump, you guys, I definitely think it can be overlooked. Now, another reason why I believe this whole area is oftentimes overlooked for home buyers and also real estate agents, and I'll admit I'm guilty of this as well, is oftentimes when you're on the MLS and you come across homes within one of these 4 neighborhoods that I've talked about already, is that you're gonna notice that the acre size are a little bit smaller than normal. Some of the acre sizes of these homes are like 0.11, some of them are 0.14, some of them are 0.7. And so you automatically look at that and go, it's not big enough. I already know what my client's looking for. They're looking for maybe a 1/4 acre or maybe like 0.20. And so you don't even give it to them as an option to look at. But what I discovered and what I learned is that this whole area, because it's so close to the dump, is actually considered a PUD. It's a planned unit development community. And so with that, you're gonna get an HOA. But another thing that they do, they will only give you the acreage on the MLS of the size of the pad the home is actually being built on. And so when you start looking around, you start realizing that a lot of these backyards are a lot bigger than you would expect them to be. And that's because they are. When you really look at it from a residential point of view, they're sitting on more like maybe a 0.18 or maybe a 0.20 acre lots. They're a little bit bigger than the MLS actually shows it to be. And so that's another thing I would recommend as well. Don't overlook it all because you see that the lot is 0.11 acres, right? Actually come out here, look at the backyard yourself and how much room there actually is around your home. And so that's another big reason I think it's oftentimes overlooked. But altogether, I definitely say there's a lot of pros. Mainly, I would say those are the 2 biggest reasons. But if you look at pros, you guys, they're awesome. You're only about 5 minutes from Sand Hollow State Park, which if you're a big fan of the outdoors, Sand Hollow is an amazing place to go and have fun. There's the lake that's there, so if you're into boating or wakeboarding or tubing or even fishing like I am, Sand Hollow is a prime location to do all of those things. Right across the street from Sand Hollow, there's the Sand Hollow Golf Course. There's also the Pink Sand dunes, you guys. So if you have some side-by-sides or anything that you like to go off-roading in, that is a great area to go do all of those things as well. For the women out there, if you want to know how far retail shopping is or grocery shopping is, you're only about an 8, 9, maybe a 10-minute drive from Costco, Walmart. You have Ross, so there's retail, there's restaurants out there as well. So you're really close to all of those things, which is another reason. I mean, you're pretty centrally located in Washington, Utah around here. As far as schooling goes, if you have high school aged kids, that they're going to be zoned for Crimson Cliffs High School, which is one of the top high schools here in Southern Utah, not only from a sports point of view, but also an academic point of view as well. If you have elementary school kids, there's Horizon Elementary, which is one of the top rated elementary schools here in St. George. So definitely keep that in mind. Not only that, you guys, you would be on Dixie Power, which Dixie Power, just so you know, is one of the cheapest power companies in the entire nation. And so when you have Dixie Power, trust me when I say your power bill is going to be pretty dang cheap. More likely than not cheaper than what you're paying right now moving from wherever you're moving from. So that is definitely another big bonus as well. So honestly, I could go on and on about the pros of this area, but I think overall it's pretty subjective. These are just things that stand out to me and things that I think about. If I was raising a family and moving to this suburb over here. So definitely keep that in mind. I want to encourage you, if you're looking for homes down here, definitely come drive around, come through the neighborhoods, and maybe even talk to some of the neighbors. But anyways, we are over in Redwater right now looking at some of these Ince homes. They do have a model home available that we're going to do a quick run through of and just kind of show you what Ince has to offer. Now this is actually the old model home. It's since then been sold, but I just wanted to give you a quick tour of it so that way you can kind of see their product. Now, one thing that Ince definitely prides himself on is high performance homes, meaning the way that they build a home, right? They add extra insulation inside of the walls. They do a lot of 2x6 construction instead of 2x4. So just some really cool, interesting things that they do that make the house a better build and last longer, right? That's what we all are looking for in a house anyways. Now, this home in particular right here is actually 1,800 square feet. 4-bedroom, 2-bath. There's a 3-car garage, but overall, Inns has about 9 or 10 different floor plans that you can actually choose from over here in Redwater. Which again, just a reminder, that is the neighborhood that's on the west side of Country Lane. And a lot of these homes over here in Redwater are being sold between the mid 500s up to the mid 600s. But here's the thing, if we go over to Red Trails, this is another Inns community, and similar situation as Redwater. There's about 9 to 10 different floor plans to choose from, anywhere between 800 square feet all the way up to 2,400 square feet. Now, one thing you're going to notice is these homes are actually a little bit closer to each other, and that just means you're going to be getting them at a better price point, starting in the high 400s, even all the way up to about the $600,000 mark. So keep that in mind, you guys. But there you have it, Inns Homes. All right, you guys. Hey, hopefully you enjoyed looking over some of those Inns homes and just seeing what they have to offer out here. They're definitely some of the best high performance homes here in St. George, and some of the best energy efficient homes as well, which is always awesome. So if you mix that with Dixie Power, man, I'm telling you, your power bill is going to be pretty dang cheap. But other than that, you guys, I wanted to save the best for last. I'm going to take you over into Red Mesa and show you New Trend. Now, you probably have heard me talk about New Trend on some of my past videos, just because from a personal point of view, they're some of my favorite builders here in Southern Utah. Not only because I think their homes stand out as far as an aesthetic point of view goes, but just working with them in the past, getting to know their customer service, their builder home warranty, and talking to my past clients, I could definitely vouch for them as a builder, and they build a really good quality product. And so let's go take one more tour, check out this New Trend home over here in Red Mesa. Let's do it. Guys, hey, hopefully you enjoyed that video of, like I said, one of the most underrated suburbs in all of St. George. And it really is an awesome area, you guys, that has a lot to offer. I'm right here next to the Virgin River, which runs pretty much right through this entire area. And I just loved it. I remember growing up as a kid, I had a creek right behind my backyard, made a lot of memories down there as a kid, catching crawdads and playing in the water. And it looks like a lot of the kids here are doing the same thing. They put up a little volleyball net right there, right in the sand next to the river. And then I also just noticed that there's a rope swing hanging over the overpass right there. So it's just really cool, you guys. I would imagine if you're raising a family and you got kids, they can make a lot of memories out here as well. So just wanted to highlight some of these things for you. And definitely, I think it's an area you should look into if you're thinking about moving to Southern Utah, St. George or Washington, or even Hurricane. I mean, you get all of the pros of Hurricane because you're 5 minutes away, but you're not actually in Hurricane. So it's pretty awesome. But there you have it, you guys. Again, my name is Cameron Cornish. Do me a favor, like and subscribe. I'd love to answer any questions you might have. All of my information is in the description below, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Have a good one.